drive you crazy. I wanna give you so much more, baby. Licking ice cream off your while massaging your back.
Okay, there we go. There we go. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are across the globe. Welcome to On the Sofa with yours truly, Esther Austin. Well, it's been a while, or as they say in the States, it's been a minute since I've been on the show live. Not that I'm supposed to be telling you that. And I've got a stellar lineup of guests for you this evening, this evening. So this is the autumn show with yours truly, Esther Austin. And over the next few weeks, the next few months, I have some, I say incredible, I've got to find another name, guests could come in your way. But for the purpose of today, have I got something on my face? There we go. I will be talking to TJ Hooker Taylor. He is the son of the late legendary Johnnie Taylor. And so he's going to be talking about a new single EP that he's got coming out soon called Mississippi Lady. And then in the second half of the show, I will be talking to Jaret Martino. Now, he is the director of an incredible film called Donna, Stronger Than Pretty. It came out on all digital platforms on the 24th of July, and it's a very powerful yet poignant film stroke documentary about the life of his mother and her experience with domestic violence. And so from a male perspective and also from a son's perspective, he just shares part of that journey. And in the part of his remit is that he wants to empower women. And I think that's a very, very strong statement. So I'm looking forward to interviewing Jaret in the second half of the show. And then on the last part of the show, I will be speaking to Marshayne, formerly known as Wayne Juicebox Marshall. You know, it's a bit of a Keith Sweat feel about him, isn't it? You know, all that sensuality and intimacy and all those wonderful things. But, you know, Wayne it's not about sex. You know, it's about being in an intimate place, being in intimacy, exploring intimacy, enjoying intimacy, embracing intimacy. So lots on the show this evening. And then over the coming weeks, the last Sunday of the month, I usually co-host a show with an artist, a renowned artist, and then I interview indie artists. And I've got an incredible guy next week called, I think it's Dark Eye. He's going to be talking about his music, and a lot of that is Afro beats. So I'm going to change things up a little next week. And also I will be joined by Anaya Day, the progressive house artist, because she's got some new stuff out. So lots coming your way over the next few weeks and months. And I know there's one distinct interview that's coming up on the 12th of September, and that's going to be the 3 Degrees. They're going to be back on again. And if you remember from last time, earlier in the year, via radio only, I interviewed them, and it was an incredible show. We laughed and giggled all the way through. And then we've got John Sly Wilson from Sly, Slick and Wicked coming on, and lots of other incredible artists. So as they say, watch this space. So without further ado, I'm going to go over to some adverts, and I will see you on the other side.
Get ready for neo-soul sensation, singer, songwriter, artist Daniela Jordan, aka DLJ, coming to a venue near you soon.
Okay, a few adverts there. We're getting slicker and smoother as time goes on. You know, anytime I do anything, it's always how can I do things differently? How can I do things better? And also, I would love some feedback from yourselves about the show and any suggestions of artists you would like to see coming on. So, without further ado, I'm going to play the latest track I'm sure I've got the latest track by TJ Hooker, so you can get an idea of what this gentleman's about. And you know, peeps, there's so much good music out there, isn't there? There's so many incredible artists, upcoming artists, independent artists, soul, R&B, neo soul, so many wonderful things coming up. And as you saw from the first promo, I will be managing, Daniela Jordan, aka DLJ, and she's a neo soul artist with an incredibly unique voice. So I'd like you to watch out for her as time goes on. She's going to be performing at quite a few venues over the next few months, and also next year look out for her at quite a lot of festivals. Very, very talented young lady. And then also, just wanted to share with you a bit of my weekend. I actually went raving last night. I went to Ministry of Sound. It was an interesting experience. It was a good experience. But what was really interesting is just being in an environment where people really enjoyed themselves. I mean, after a while, the music got a little monotonous because it was pretty much the same. I think it was techno went to room 2, techno went to room 3, techno went to room 4, techno. And by the end of the evening, I really wanted to bang my head against the wall. However, I did enjoy myself, did some moves. And I just say this because life is about adventure. Life is about being spontaneous. Life is about trying things, doing things different. And especially in this current time with COVID pandemic and, you know, lots of stuff that's happening, what's happening in Afghanistan, what's happening in Haiti, and so many parts of the world, people are struggling. And all I would do is to encourage you to, if you get that moment, if you get that just get some time or an opportunity, go and do something different, or do something the same, but do something all the same, because life is so short and we just never know what's around the corner. So without further ado, hoping to speak to TJ Hooker very soon. I'm going to go over to listening to some of his music.
Ooh, yeah. Oh, I know. Look at here. We've had our ups, we've had our downs. Hey, let nothing separate us now. I've seen lovers come, lovers go. I love you, darling. We got to try to hold on. People gonna talk about us, but we can't worry what people gonna say. No, girl, you're all I need. You're my good thing. Oh, I can't let you get away. Let's stay together. We gotta stay together. My darling. Ooh, yeah. I waited a lifetime to find a girl like you. Yeah, it's you. Without you, baby, I don't know what I would do. No, you've been my shelter through the storm. You gave me a reason to live on. That's right. And that's why I gotta say, girl, let's stay together.
Let's stay together.
Oh, let's stay together.
Let's stay together.
We might not have a Cadillac, or live in a big house on a hill. Oh, we might not wear designer clothes. That's right. As long as we got each other, yeah, that's all we need. One more thing I'd like to say. I don't mind working 2 jobs. That's right. Just to put food on the table. Real man. And help pay the light bill. That's okay. I don't want you to worry about a thing. All I wanna do is keep you happy, keep you satisfied. Cause we've been together so long, we can't give up now. No, 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 no. Oh, I can't let you get away. Let's stay together. Let's stay together. We gonna stay together, my darling. Yeah. I don't care what your friends say. She ain't got no man today. No, no. We've had our ups, we've had our downs. Ain't let nothing separate us now. I don't care what your friends say. She ain't got no man today. That right. We ain't gonna listen to her. Me and you and me. We gotta keep our family. Oh, let's stay together. Yeah.
We've got to stay together.
Well, God is joined together. Let no man put us under. Yeah. Ooh, baby. Oh, we've had our ups, we've had our downs. Hey, let nothing separate us now.
Okay, that was TJ Hooker. TJ Hooker, loving the track, and his father was the legendary Johnnie Taylor, known as the Blues Wailer. The Blues Wailer. He covered many genres of music at the time, from soul, R&B, the blues, doo-wop, and some gospel. So hopefully TJ Hooker will show up, and as they say, the show must go on. The show must go on. And whilst we're waiting for TJ, got to fill the slot, peeps. The summer issue of Turning Point, Your Lifestyle, Your Wellbeing, that's my magazine, if you didn't know, ladies and gents, call it my baby, has been out for the past 3 weeks, and it's doing incredibly well. I've had some great feedback about it, and I've gone back to the drawing board to do some tweaking around it. But so far, there have been quite a few sales in the States, quite a lot of sales in London. And I've just managed to get some copies into Canary Wharf. And also there's someone in San Diego who's doing a campaign around it as well for me. So, it's incredible. And I am so happy. And the hard work does pay off eventually. And I actually had a few more orders in this week. So and everything about my show, even if it's this show On the Sofa with Esther, is to inspire you, is to speak into your life, it's to encourage you to follow your dreams. And sometimes when you follow your dreams, you will have the haters, you'll have those who smile in your face. There's a track by Joe Peps Harris from Undisputed Truth, and that particular track talks about people smiling in your face. I can't remember what the track is, you'll have to excuse me, but no matter who you are and what you're doing, where you want to go, just follow your vision, follow your heart. And when you actually become more heart-centered, then it doesn't matter what others may say or do. When you know that you're in purpose and on purpose, you will rise, you will find the road at the end of the tunnel. And it's about surrounding yourself with good people. Sometimes that's not always possible, but follow your dreams, and the universal God will put the right people in your place. And sometimes, even if the right people, what we don't deem as the right people, are put in our place, there's always a lesson, there's always a learning, and it keeps us on our toes, and it keeps us very aware of who is around us. But regardless, I inspire you to keep moving. Right, where is this gentleman, TJ? Sometimes you get a feeling when you think, are they going to show up? But never mind. I've got plenty of stuff to fill the space, because as I said, on the second half of the show, I will be talking to Jaret Martino, and he is the director of this incredible film, Donna, Stronger Than Pretty. And each week, what I'm going to be doing, sometimes I'm going to be doing film reviews, sometimes I'm going to have comedians on. I'm going to break things up, because what I'm realizing also, as part of another body of work that I do, because I'm an energy healer and I deal a lot with people's emotions, people are really struggling around this time. Even though we're coming out and coming through lockdown, people are struggling. And so whatever I can do to support the process, to help the process, I will do. So humor is healing. And with these film reviews also, I will be reviewing films that touch on spots that many of us can relate to and take something away from. Yeah. So what I'm going to do now is some more adverts and a little bit of music.
But somehow, trust me, I got next. Call me when you want it, lady. Headlines don't try and hide. You swear, and I can't afford to be without you, babe. So you can love me, babe.
Hi, this is Duke Fakir, and I'm one of the Four Tops. I'd like to present to you one of the most up-and-coming great groups of all times, a family called the Stubbs Girls. And evidently, Levi Stubbs' genes has passed right down into his wonderful family. Here they are, folks, the Stubbs Girls.
On the beat. Standing in the shadows of love, getting ready for the heartache to come. Standing in the shadows of love, getting ready for the heartache to come. I wanna run, but there's nowhere to go, no. 'Cause the heartaches will follow me, I know. Without your love, the love I need, it's the beginning of the end for me. 'Cause you're taking all my reasons for living.
Okay, so that is a new single by the Stubbs Girls. It's the sister and nieces of the late Levi Stubbs of the Four Tops, and they've done a fantastic remake of Standing in the Shadows of Love. So it's on all platforms, and also if you go to their website, check out the stubbsgirls.com, you'll be able to download and purchase that track. Amazing, incredible stuff. I'll keep saying the word incredible today, don't I? Need to find another word. Okay, well, still waiting for TJ Hooker. I guess I just had a sense that this would have gone the way it is. However, I'm just going to push forward. So in terms of what's happening also on LN Soul Radio, there are lots of other great shows happening. Just visit the website, www.lnsoulradio.com, or we're on Facebook at LN Soul Radio. And we've got KJ. KJ started a few months ago with a new show of hers. And also there's Charmaine X with the Reggae Hour. There's the Juxtaposition show, which is just before mine. There's Angela Lee, who does lots of inspirational and spiritual stuff. And then there's the Friday Night Mayhem show with Anthony Williams and Mr. Carlos. And that's a very humorous evening with lots of banter and segments of interviewing artists live, and there's just lots of fun. So do check out what's happening on LN Soul Radio. And so moving forward rapidly, in terms of what's happening with On the Sofa with Esther, like I said, the autumn season is going to be jam-packed with lots and lots of incredible people. I'm hoping still to get Marilyn McCoo and Billy Davis Jr. on from the Fifth Dimension. And also there's a gentleman who played backing vocals. I believe he was doing backing vocals with forgotten his name. Can you believe it? Forgotten his name. Anyway, all I can say to you is there's lots of great things that will be happening. Right. So what I'm going to do now, trying to fill the space. Ramina Johnson also is going. I had her on my show last week. She's going to be performing at the 229 Club in London on the 8th of September. So check out, get her tickets, support the artists, because now that things are opening up, we are all ready to go out there to have fun, but also it's time to support our artists. Yeah. Right. So over to another advert. What am I going to play for you today?
I have to know your name.
It's Donna.
Donna, it's never too late to dream. You know what? Sometimes you can be really ungrateful.
Let go of me. I feel stuck.
What do you mean?
I never know what mood he's gonna be in.
How you gonna raise 3 kids with no job, no money, and no husband?
Watch me.
Don't stop fighting for your kids. Or for yourself. Women gotta be stronger than pretty. You look like a warrior to me.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Good evening. Well, I've got quite a few messages. There's Shay. Shay, good evening, sister, and lovely to see you here. I know you're waiting for the interview with Marshayne, otherwise known and formerly known as Wayne G. Spot Marshall. So he's going to be on towards the end of the show. Anthony D. Walker. Hello, Anthony. This guy is such an incredible support. He supports Diane Mathis, and Diane Mathis is an incredible singer. Here I go again with incredible, and she's actually got a new track out. I'm going to see if I can download that to play today. And they've been so supportive of me on the show, and I've had Diane Mathis on several times, and she is just an absolute hoot, and she's such an absolute blessing. And also Whittington, hey girl, good to see you here. Good to see you. Thank you guys so much for showing up this evening and keeping me company. Thank you. I'm learning to navigate lots of things with this new system. So let's see. Right, hopefully hopefully TJ is going to be on shortly, so looking forward to that. And I just got to keep talking, haven't I? I've got to keep talking. So let's see what else I've got to say. Well, Anthony D. Walker, says congratulations on Turning Point magazine, and you just saw the promo for that. And as I was saying, that the issue is about hashtag Black Royalty. The theme is called hashtag Black Royalty. And what does that mean? Well, myself and the gentleman on the front called Flair One, it was a bit of a collaboration. And the ethos and the thinking behind that was, does one step into one's greatness? How can you step into your royalty? How can we understand about our royalty and who we really are? And the we could be, as a Black person, as a melanated person, but also as a collective. Now we want people to start to think outside the box, to go beyond. Thank you, Shay. To go beyond how we often perceive things. There's a saying by Mahatma Gandhi that says, become the change, be the change that you want to see in the world. And when we start with ourselves, because I've been doing a lot of work, I've had to do quite a bit of introspection and reflection over the past few weeks on every level. And the beauty is that I've got 4 strong people that I trust around me, people who are strong enough in themselves, people who could hold their own, and people who don't have an agenda. Oh, here he is. And, when you've got strong people around you to support you in moving forward, then understanding your royalty, understanding your self-worth, understanding intrinsically, even beyond the physical aspect of who we are, understanding who we are at that level, then we get and operate at a stage where it doesn't matter what's going on around us. It's about our vision, our purpose, understanding and knowing why we are down here on this earth and what is our purpose. And sometimes we don't know that. Sometimes it's a lifetime to get there, but always hold on to, I would say, that thread or that vein of hope. Right. Okay, fantastic. So I know TJ is trying to get on. Thank you, Heidi. Thank you. Heidi's his management. So thank you very much. Trust is everything. Yes, Whittington. Bless you. Trust is everything, knowing your value. Absolutely, Whittington. Absolutely. And I know that you too have been on a journey to understand that. And we all continue to be on that journey. We all continue to evolve. We all continue to strip away our stuff so that we can be fully present in the moment to where we are being guided to and what we need to do in our lives. And for me, being in the hub of music, interviewing all these incredible artists has been, I would say, I don't want to say incredible, has been an amazing journey, because as we know, music is healing, it's cathartic, but also we are getting to talk to listen to legends. And a lot of these legends are telling, heartfelt, never before stories of their lives. And for me, when I listen to them, I walk away every Sunday evening inspired, totally inspired by what I can do with my life. And also sometimes they are reflections of us. Thank you, Shay. Thank you. Okay, hello, Facebook user. You haven't identified yourself, but hello. Thank you to all of you who are listening in tonight. I know TJ Hooker is trying to get on. So what we'll do in the meantime, in the meantime, we're going to go over to some more music. And what shall I play for you now? Aha. See you on the other side.
On Wednesday, the 8th of September, Romina Johnson will be performing live with full band at the 229 on London's Great Portland Street. Doors open at 7:30 p.m. For more information and tickets, head over to 229.london or eventbrite.co.uk and search for Romina Johnson live at the 229. It's gonna be funky.
Okay, yes. So at the 229, I will be seeing you there, or you will be seeing me. But we're going to be there on the 8th of September supporting Romina Johnson. Right, let's see if I can get TJ back on. Okay, he's still trying. See, this happens sometimes. And as they say in the industry, the show must go on. So what else do I have to play for you? Oh, I got some more comments. Let's see who's in the comment section. You wanted to replace, let's see. You wanted to replace your favorite word, extraordinary, exquisite, or inspiring. Thank you. Yes, fantastic. So rather than saying incredible, I'm going to use these words that Whittington still has supplied. Thank you very much. It's nice to have this interaction on the show. It's like being in a room, sitting around a table or sitting around the sofa, having a talk with your girlfriend, so to speak. Okay, right. What I'm going to do, ladies and gents, we're going to keep things rolling, rolling with some more promos.
Yes, it's the original Jungle Rats, the real Marley, and I want to use this medium to say a very big thank you to Esther, Austin Global, Black Royalty, Turning Point. Thank you very much, ma'am. I'm so happy and honored, to be on the Turning Point magazine. Thank you. Respect, maximum respect, Empress Esther. Thank you very much. Yes, we're happy here in Africa. I'm here with the family, the whole family. We give thanks and praise to Jah. Yes, Rastafari, peace and love.
Greetings from Diane Mathis to you, beautiful Esther Austin. Thank you so very much for incorporating my article, The Power of Forgiveness, in your wonderful magazine. Your magazine is beautifully displayed. Articles are so empowering, and I just want to say thank you for giving me an opportunity to express something that has empowered my life, forgiving, because in order to forgive, you must learn how to love yourself first, forgive yourself, forgive others. That's the only way you can live a powerful, meaningful life, to let go of any hurts that have been in your life. So I just want to say thank you once again. God bless you. Keep you safe. From America, Diane Mathis.
I'm deeply grateful and I'm thankful for the opportunity to have had the virtual interview and be part of Turning Point Magazine. And I wish the whole team nothing but success. So again, I'm Nolan Jaret, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.
Okay, yes, Turning Points, Your Lifestyle, Your Wellbeing magazine is on the rise, and very soon it's going to be in shops and other places near you and in hotels. So watch this space. Live the dream, peeps. Live the dream. Okay, it seems like TJ's having a little bit of a problem logging in. Sometimes that happens. So, and the time is rapidly coming up for my second guest, but as we say, we're going to continue. So let's see. Thank you all for your comments. Thank you all for your comments. I'm just going to continue with this bit of inspirational chat, if you don't mind having this with me on the sofa with Esther today. You know, I work with a lot of young people, and I'm so grateful for that fact, because I learn so much from them. And it's also refreshing working with individuals who are open to change, who are hungry for change. And it keeps me on my toes and it keeps me inspired. And one thing that I realize about a lot of young people is that they want to work with people who are real, because they want to be seen. They want to be acknowledged. They want someone to be able to understand them and to reach out to them. And I guess this conversation is leading up to the next interview that I will be doing with Jaret Martino, the director of Donna, Stronger Than Pretty, because his life story, you know, watching his mother go through domestic violence, watching his mother put her life back together, and at the end, his mother's no longer with us, but at the end of her fight, so to speak, she became the teacher that she had always wanted to be. She held on to that dream no matter what happened. And with 3 children in tow, in a time where it was expected for the woman to stay in a situation or a relationship, because what can you do without a man? What can you do without a job? That reliance on someone else. There's Heidi. Hello, Heidi. And so that's why I always say, whatever happens in our formative years between the ages up to 7 is so important. But as adults, what is it that you today can do to support maybe a young person around you? So let's see, we're going to get Heidi on. Heidi. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
How are you? I know that TJ is really trying to get on, bless him.
That's why I decided I'd get on the link. I said, well, let me go ahead and see if I can log in too. So
yeah,
I clicked on it and I sent it to him. So I know he's trying to get in there, but I'm like, he should just be able to click on it and be good to go.
Yeah, but what we're going to do, I mean, if he doesn't do it this time, what we'll do a test run, and then I'll have him back on again, because I've been trying to get TJ for such a long time.
Right.
So that saying in showbiz, the show must go on. But also, I've been trying to get hold of. Well, I've been trying to find time for you. So it's the opposite, trying to find time for you. And ladies and gentlemen, let me just, so you're on air now, so we might as well just start the game.
Right. I said, because I was like, let me just do something with my hair real fast and throw on a shirt, because I'm like, I don't know.
You're lucky that we're only doing that. The interview only captures you from waist up, because sometimes you have to be suited and booted.
Right. I'm like, I just throw a t-shirt on, throw my hair up, and I'm not gonna worry about it.
Oh, well, bless you. Thank you so much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Heidi Wilkinson is from HJ Entertainment, and she manages artists. And so she's managing TJ Hooker. But the interesting thing, and everything's for a reason, because I was sitting there, I was almost trying not to get vexed with TJ not coming on, but I'm like, don't get vexed. Everything is for a reason, right? And the reason also, I believe, is I've been trying to get hold of Heidi for a while, but it's just my timing. Things have got really insane with me, and I feel very blessed that people people want to come on the show. And it's just been about managing that onslaught. I've literally been working around the clock. But TJ is listening in. TJ, hello, my dear. I'm going to get you on another time. We'll do a test run, and then I will definitely have you. But I've got all your music and everything lined up, TJ. But anyway, let's have a conversation with Heidi. So Heidi, thank you so much for joining me on the sofa with yours truly, Esther Austin. Now I'm going to ask you, Heidi, in a nutshell, I gotta go there. In a peanut shell or a crab shell, who is Heidi Wilkinson?
Well, hello, everyone over in the UK. My name is Dr. Heidi Wilkinson. I have my doctorate in business with a concentration in global leadership. So I am an educator. I teach those who are finishing their master's level classes in business, in different manufacturing disciplines and what have you. And I have also been a singer. I've been a backup singer with several girls groups throughout my life. So I've been singing professionally off and on since I was 7. So going on 50 years. I'll be 57 next month.
Okay.
And I moved to the business side of things in 1992 when I was tapped by Darren Story with Low Key to run operations for Skinhorn Artist Management Group. Matter of fact, TJ is working with Tony Talbert, known as Prof T from Low Key. So we've all known each other since our high school years. Prof asked me and TJ asked me if I was interested in working with him. And I was like, yes, I am. So I represent him. I represent a young man named Jonathan Henry. He goes by Amante Drummer Henry. He's out of Las Vegas. I represent a young lady named Trinity Marquise, who goes by Trinity Star. She's also in Las Vegas. I have a jazz fusion saxophonist artist out of Florida, Ernest
Okay.
Walker Jr., who I represent. Oh my goodness. Ricky Fontaine, I represent him. Oh my goodness gracious. I represent the Rewind Band out of Kansas City. I'm getting ready to
Okay.
start working with another artist called Chris Kane. He's out of the Carolinas. And then I have the Nappy Nine Funk Army. That is a combination out of the Carolinas and New York. So I work on a regular basis with about, 7 to 10 artists in different genres of music.
Okay, so you're not busy at all, lady. I mean, it was interesting because I know you went on holiday a few months ago when you said that you're taking
Yes.
a break because I know that at the time we were both working insanely insane.
Right.
And when you said you're going on holiday, I'm like, what's that? I'll have to look it up in the dictionary because I haven't been on holiday in ages. But I take brief moments here and there.
Right. No, I took almost 3 weeks, and I'm so glad I did it. My daughter came to visit me, and we just had fun. It was awesome being able to go to bed and not set my alarm clock because I work almost 7 days a week. If I'm not working, where I'm a safety specialist at Amazon, then I'm teaching online at Baker, and then HJ Entertainment. So I work literally 7 days a week.
Wow. So Heidi, I mean, TJ has said he's been here the whole time. I know, I've seen you. Yeah, he's watching. I know, but then you're not connecting. That's the thing. And I think there's something with the connection because you're in the studio, but you're in the background, but you're not actually connecting to the live stream. So let's see if you can get on again. But never mind. Like I said, I'm gonna have you
Because
back
I
on.
see him buffering there. I see him.
That's right. You're
If you can
buffering.
hear,
So
if you can hear me, TJ, log out and try to log back in, because I know sometimes that happens depending on how your Wi-Fi or your internet connection is. So log out and try logging back in since you're doing that buffering thing. So
That's
try
right.
again.
That's right. But the thing is, what I'm going to have to do now is because my next guest is literally in 5 minutes. I will, I will have TJ back on. It's okay. I got your back, TJ. Don't worry. I got everything lined up for you.
Right.
So, but Heidi,
And he's
can
got
you just
new music coming out. Like I said, working
Mississippi Lady?
with Prof, and he's got new music coming out. He's working on another really good, awesome video with Prof T. So a lot of good things happening. He's booked up practically through the end of the year, even with the Delta variant going on. But he knows how to stay safe, and he knows how to do what he needs to do. So. Just trying, to keep him booked and everybody else as best we can, and try to do it as safely as we can.
Excellent. And what would you say? I mean, I know you're trying not to be biased. What would you say is unique about TJ? I mean, everybody's got their own uniqueness, but what for you sells him? What engages his audience? Because I've listened to a lot of his music, and his music is real old school.
Yeah.
It's about love, but more so it's about a nice old school togetherness. That's what I feel about his music.
His voice is real rich. I mean, he just has that rich kind of, it's not a bass or a baritone. He just has that rich voice that's kind of raspy. And this, when he's singing the lyrics, even if you're not watching him, the song and the way that he presents it, it really gets into a person's mind and spirit. So it's the way he delivers the song, the way that he presents himself on stage. It's just really, really a cool thing to watch. And he's been that way, like I said, since high school. He's been performing for a long, long time. So, I mean, he had that in him back when we were 14, 15, 16 years old. So he's always been that ultimate performer.
Oh, so you've known him that long?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Oh, wow. Gosh.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. He will tell you about the grand jury days, the days with Destiny. When he was with Destiny, my sister and I and our girls group were their opening act. So he's been doing this a long time. He's performed with a lot of great singers,
Oh,
songwriters, a lot of great
yes.
musicians. So it's a privilege and an honor that he reached out to tap me to be his booking agent. So if you're still listening there, TJ, thank you. I'm really appreciative. I look forward to many long years of me having the opportunity to be your booking agent, and we fly high and get more and more wonderful shows and opportunities. So that's a
Absolutely.
feather in my cap.
Absolutely. That's a real honor, TJ. That's a real honor. And Heidi, I'm just so glad to have had these moments speaking to you finally. And, you know, I will have you back on in your own vein soon as well. I'm just working through my schedule. It's been manic, but I just feel very privileged. I feel like the BBC sometimes because people are like, can you interview this? Can you interview that? I'm like, oh, but you know, that's good in itself. So thank you for your patience as well in terms of me getting back to you. TJ, as I said, I will be reconnected with Heidi. And on that note, I'm going to now go over to another brief ad. And our next guest is, hopefully he's going to be there lined up, Jaret Martino. And he's the director of this incredible film, Donna, Stronger Than Pretty. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to that. So there's a Facebook user that says, thanks, Heidi. And they're coming as Taylorize.
That's TJ. That's his moniker, Taylorized.
Taylorize.
You Taylorized.
And there's Taylor Rise as well, is it? Rising,
yes,
Taylor Rising.
Taylor Rise. Yes.
Excellent. Oh my gosh, this would have been a great interview, but never mind. I will be in touch and we'll get TJ on ASAP. All right, thank you. And I love your energy as well. You know, it's interesting when I yes, I was trying to fill space a bit before, but it's just nice having you on and having your energy on as well. So I'm going to I will send through some dates ASAP.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. Talk with you soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Heidi Wilkinson, who manages TJ Hooker and other artists all the way from the United States of America.
Yes. I look forward to hearing from you soon, ma'am. Take care.
You will do. Thank you. Bless you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Okay, you saw how I came alive there, innit? Like some puppet, ping. I'm talking to someone, ping. And I have to be making stuff up on my own. But even the stuff that I was making, no, it's not made up. Even the stuff that I was sharing with you is important because all of these people that I am interviewing, they have such incredible stories to share. Right. Jaret, hopefully you will be back on soon yourself. And I am now going to go over to... sort of run out of ads now at the moment, isn't it? I'm going to go over. There he is. I'm going to play his advert again, and then we have Jaret on the other side of this advert. Got to find the advert first, isn't it? It's clever.
I have to know your name.
It's Donna.
Donna, it's never too late to dream.
You know what? Sometimes you can be really ungrateful.
Let go of me. I feel stuck.
What do you mean?
I never know what mood he's gonna be in.
How you gonna raise 3 kids with no job, no money, and no husband?
Watch me.
Don't stop fighting for your kids or for yourself. Women gotta be stronger than pretty. You look like a warrior to me.
Well, welcome, Jaret. Hello, good evening. Good evening.
Pat Branch, the co-writer of Donna, Stronger Than Pretty.
Hello.
Hello. So what is your name again? Sorry?
Pat Branch, like a
Matt.
tree.
Oh, Branch, Matt Branch.
No, Pat,
Okay.
like
Oh,
Pat
Pat.
top of your head. Yes, 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 yes.
Well, thank you, Pat, and thank you, Jaret, for joining me on the sofa with Esther.
Thank you.
I've been, today's show, I've just been looking forward to all week. And then just before you're supposed to come on, like the dog is roaming around, knocking, trying to get into the room. Then my granddaughter's calling Nana. I'm like, I'm just about to go on the show and I've got to look really calm. You're trying to look calm, but you're breathing through your armpits, like, get out of the room now. So thank you. Oh, brilliant. Well, thank you so much for joining me on the show today. Let's change the banners as well. It's a real privilege. And, I had the honor of watching your film a couple of months ago. And there were so many things in that spoke to my humanity. And then just because by you being the son of someone who's been through that experience, it's going to be interesting to talk to you about your firsthand experience of that, but also watching your mother go through that. So there's so many different dynamics to that, to your film. So I usually ask my guests though, Jaret and Pat, I'm going to ask you individually. Now, who is Jaret in a nutshell, in a peanut shell, or a coconut shell? Who is Jaret?
I'm an actor, producer, director that started in the theater when I was six years old. And I was inspired and intrigued to do the theater because my mom would find free things for us to do. So as a single mom, she was still working, cleaning houses and waitressing at that point. So she would find free things in the paper, whether it was outdoor concerts or shows, or we'd go, to the $2 matinee movie. And the theater was just such an escape. So, so I started kind of at that point creatively, like that was my outlet. And it's really been the thread through everything I've done. So just entertainment in general.
Okay. Okay, thank you. And Pat, I'd like to ask you the same question. Who is Pat in let's say a walnut shell?
Walnut?
A walnut shell. Yeah, it should feel like a walnut.
Well, I'm a novelist and screenwriter and also a teacher. I teach special needs kids that have physical or mental illness. But that puts food on the table, and then to be able to pursue my art, I write films and books. And I just stand people. I do it as more of a hobby than a career. But I did have my own comedy show for a long time over in West Hollywood. Okay. But that's my main thing. Yeah, my main thing is that I'm a writer. That's the big thing for me. So storyteller. I like to tell stories.
Okay. So can you now share how you came to work with Jaret on this movie, and for you as a woman, how did it impact on you?
Oh, okay. We just met. We were out and about, and we met and connected on Facebook, and then didn't really interact too much because he's not a big Facebook user like me. I'm like all over the place. But he was looking for, he had written his screenplay and he was looking for someone to work with him on it, to help him develop it. And so he contacted me, and I read the first half of the first page and emailed him back immediately and said, yes, I would love to be a part of this project, please. And so then we began working together to develop the story. And as the first time I spoke with his mom, I just told her I wanted to be able to tell her story as authentically as possible, and just that's what we did. That's all we did.
Excellent. And Jaret, for you, in the brief, that you that came with, you know, the whole sort of bio around promoting the film. There was something where you said about your experience and then wanting to empower women because of what you had gone through. For me, that was that's a very powerful statement coming from a man, if I may say so, but also coming from the son of someone who had gone through this with his mother. So what got you to that place, Jaret, where you felt I need to share this story onto a bigger platform?
Yeah, I mean, I just always watched my mom carry so much and do so much. I mean, we thought we were the richest kids on the block growing up, although, you know, there's plenty of struggle there. So she just provided such a beautiful life and childhood, and she really made a life not only for herself but her 3 children. So I was always just very in tune with her, and I knew, although I didn't feel the full impact or the weight of what she was going through to make it all happen, I was in tune with that enough that I was the middle child, and I would be lighting candles for her when she was coming home from a long day. So that's why she said in our premiere, in her speech, that she was never surprised that I made a film about our journey. I think it's really like zooming out a part of like both of our bigger pictures of why we are here on the planet, because she was strong enough to persevere and to tell her story, and I was strong enough to provide the vehicle and to want to celebrate my mom, you know, and because she played mom and dad, so it was really important for me too, as just separating from, you know, the importance of, first and foremost, it was, you know, the celebration of a mom, a single woman, the journey of a woman finding her voice, but for the children as well, because I grew up in the media with everything in Hollywood feeding into the stereotypes and stigmas. And that's something I definitely did not want to do, because children need to feel that it's okay, that they're coming from a single parent family home, that that their mom or their dad is playing both of those roles, and that's okay. You know, it should be celebrated, especially when they're doing a fantastic job at it.
And you know, your brothers and sisters, because you've got another brother and a sister. How has this particular journey, I would say, with the film impacted on them? Because obviously you are sharing your lives. So how has that inspired, impacted, influenced their journey?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, because I think it's a really unique position to be in when you see your life and these vivid on a big screen. So I think in some ways it really helped propel us forward as a family in a lot of ways, and then in some ways it's been difficult and kind of dredged up some stuff and forced us to look at patterns and cycles that still exist. And there's been some really tough conversations throughout the development, through the production, and through the release. And then of course our mom passed of pancreatic cancer. So it's very layered and complicated. So we already had a pretty complicated story to share. And then that layer of her passing just at 64 years old, and she was just, you know, months from her own retirement, and the celebration of the film release. So of course, you know, that adds like such a weight to what we already were going through as a family. We were already facing this huge release, and, you know, the release of our story. So yeah, it's had its highs and lows.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the gentlest way I can put it.
Okay. And Pat, I guess the question is for you as a woman and being part of this journey with Jaret, were there any parts of the story that you were able to identify with or empathize with?
Oh yes, most definitely. That was actually one of the nicer parts of working on this with Jaret, was that I got to include parts of my own psyche and my own upbringing, because I was as well raised by a single mom and or single parent, sorry, and well, that was my mom. But the first conversation I had with Donna, she almost wanted to apologize for her, you know, her choices and to be with somebody that was putting herself and her kids in danger at some points until she was able to leave. And the first thing I said was that this story, the thing about women is that our stories cross demographics. And even though they're from Long Island in New York and I'm from West Philadelphia in the inner city, there were certainly connections to be made, and it didn't matter across race, across gender, across sexuality, across everything. At the end of the day, there's somebody in a relationship where somebody is abusing them, and they have to find a way out. And that's what, you know, we're going to do, is show how you found your way out. It doesn't. Yes. So that was really the great part, was being able to incorporate also being raised by a single mom, who worked 2 jobs. I didn't see her a lot in my childhood. I saw her in the morning when she got me up for school, and I was already in bed by the time she got home from work. But at the same time, I knew that everything she was because of how much she loved me.
Yeah, and you know, that's quite clear when you said that Donna wanted to, you know, it's almost like she wanted to apologize for the choices she made. And sometimes we have to just come to terms and accept, which is not always easy, those choices, because we always think we could have done different, we could have done better. But in those moments, you do what you feel you can do. You know, I remember, I mean, I was in what they had said an emotionally abusive marriage many, many years ago. And there were times when I knew I wanted to leave, and yet there was just something that was just holding me in this space until there became that sort of breakthrough moment where it's almost like your soul is saying, I can't do this anymore. And you get to that space also where you look at your kids and like, what can I do? But sometimes if you run, or you think if you walk or run with your kids, how am I going to? And that was what was going through my mind at the time. But then I don't know what it was that clicked. It's almost like, but if I run, if I jump now, I'm going to make it.
Yes.
I'm going to make it. And that's what I saw in this movie, that tenacity of your mother, Jaret, that, I mean, they show, you know, the times when she was in the cafe cleaning and then she had to run home and, you know, early morning, she's making sandwiches. And then also another poignant part of the movie is when what's the one when she went to, is it the certificate to change the name change certificate? And all of a sudden, these women must have felt your mother's strength. And they turned around and said, you know, you look like a warrior. So those pivotal moments in our lives, sometimes when we're going through, it's almost like God or the angels, you know, whatever you believe in, just show up to give you that extra bit of strength to say, keep going, to keep going. And, you know, and that the journey of your mother clearly showed that. And so you're you know, from the film now, you're doing some work, you work with women. Did I read that right? Or you're doing lots of empowerment work?
Yeah, just before I get to that question, I just want to go off of what you just said, because I think it's a really important point, that my mom did get away, and she did make a different choice. And it was very early on for me. I was only 5-6 years old. So I think a really important message for anyone who escapes a situation like that and does create a life for themselves, especially for women, because of the constructs and because of how our society has been shaped, it's really important to drive home the message that women that did break that cycle that there's a harder, clearer line in the sand for themselves, for their own mind, body, soul health, and for the children, because that can be another gateway to abuse and to keeping themselves in a cycle. Because it's, for instance, with my older brother, and I'll put it out there because it's the reality of the situation, that she always felt bad because he was the older child, and that stifled him because he was able to utilize our past of playing the victim and, you know, everything that comes with staying in an abusive household, everything that makes up an abusive personality. So the tricky and the weird part and the layered and the issues with why a lot of men become abusers is because they don't, there's not that clear line in the sand. There isn't the conversation that needs to happen, and there's a parent that feels bad for their actions. And my mom felt that and saw that, but it was too late. So you know, I really want to drive home that that's so important, just for women to value themselves and to feel strong in their actions and reactions, and that they did get through that. So you can't stay there. It's really important to move forward from that for everybody's health, for everybody's sake. And I know that my mom recognizes that and feels that, and that this is a huge part of this film, that people, whether they're in the cycle now or they just got out, or it's been years and years, you know, because for us, we're in a really unique position where we have a film about it, and that doesn't fit into the stereotypes and stigmas. So the empowering part is that it happened in the past, and that we can't base decisions off of that anymore.
That last bit is quite a powerful statement. I mean, did you actually go through any therapy or treatment to support you through the process? Because, you know, the film in itself is quite a cathartic process, but did you go through anything that to support you as you were coming out of?
Yeah, I mean, I'm an actor, so that's kind of like, I feel like I was in some psychiatry. But my mom was adamant about us, you know, she brought us to a family therapist, and she provided an outlet. She went more often than we did, sort of like church, same thing. But it was always there, and I always had outlets, and I kind of chose the path of creatively doing it. So kind of reliving this was the safest way to do it. And it definitely was cathartic. Of course, it was hard, but
there was one funny moment when we were shooting the scene where his dad has a fight in the prison cell with the I don't know if you remember that, where he's like lights out, the dad's like, I'm still working here, and anyway he threw the pencil, and the guard opens the cell and goes in and starts beating on him, and so while we're filming that, it's like he's in there, boom, 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 and Jaret's standing there watching, and I was like, you gonna yell cut soon? And he's like, boom, boom, boom. And finally, he let it go on a little bit longer. Then that's the director finally went, cut. It was pretty funny. I was like, okay, that was some catharsis right there.
I do have to say, I don't condone abuse.
No, he doesn't. Yeah, it was in the movie.
But you know, for a son to know the history,
yeah,
I had a little fun with watching that happen in an imaginary circumstance. But
I was building on the acting cathartic part, and the door, the creative cathartic part.
Yeah, that's it. Sorry, I didn't read that. But you know, the good thing also is that, you know, you can still find humor not from it, but because of it. Yes, and that is part of the healing. And Pat, I'd like to ask, you know, what were the more, I mean, other than that particular moment, you know, can you name, say, two more of the more poignant aspects of the film or experiences as you worked on the film that really struck you? And it could be fun, something funny, like, well, it's not really funny, but you know what I'm saying, like this, or
You know, well, that was that's the biggest compliment that Jaret paid to me after we had our first stage reading of our first draft together. And there were moments when the audience laughed, and afterwards he said to me, "I didn't know that any parts of the story were funny," and I was like, "That's what I'm here for," because that was, you know, I certainly. Whose childhood doesn't involve some sort of trauma? If it doesn't, oh, yay for you! But I use humor as my way of processing things. I laugh. That's my laughter is my healing thing. So it would be, for me, two of the scenes. The one when the mother character comes in to talk Donna with the broken nose and the tape on her face.
Yes.
Out of leaving, like, and she says that her own husband beat her so badly that she wasn't even recognizable, and to put that in the language of how she said it, you know, that was a very poignant moment. And where Donna is like, you know, but imagine if you just left, you know, look at the mess that your family is because you chose to stay, and I don't want my kids to be like that. So that was one. And honestly, the other scenes that I really enjoyed are when he's with the kids in the museum, and you really, because that was the thing about showing the humanity of this man who just didn't know how to be loved, but you saw just a little bit of how much he loved his kids, and you know, and when they were little, and you know, the museum tour and all the things that they were doing at that point. I really enjoyed that aspect of it, of him wanting to have this woman. I'm sorry, my favorite I remember now is when he says, you know, I'll never not, and he's about to say love you, and she slams the door in his face and walked away. That was probably my favorite, where she's like, I am so done with you. That was my favorite Donna moment, I think, is when she just, I'm done. And there's nothing to do because of what he put her through. It's just so awful. You know, it's one thing to have a relationship breakdown, but to not give the mother of your child enough money to raise your children is just outrageous. And so yeah, when she just slams that door in his face, I love that. And the whole audience did as well. So those are the two moments.
And I guess those moments are moments of you know, there's the song that sisters are doing it for themselves. Just that initial moment of, you know, I'm taking back my power.
Yes.
You know, I've got my own Oscar, I've got my own gong. This is who I am. You know, really pivotal but strong moments.
If I could say one more thing is when Jaret directed another film, Driven, the documentary, and he invited me to the screening, and we had only met like 1 or 2 times. And I, without taking up too much time, when that movie was over, and we had already, you know, I had already said, yes, I would like to work with you. But then at that point I said, I really want to meet your mom because I want to know who raised you, because to raise someone like you, that, you know, a working actor in Hollywood that was not an asshole. I don't want to cuss on your show, but that was really kind and genuine.
I didn't hear that.
And it was so, because there, you know, as a screenwriter and whatever my aspirations were in the industry, I've had so much smoke blown up my behind,
oh, you're breaking up.
That was, and I just thought, who raised you? And that was a key thing for me too, is to wanting to meet his mom, is to know, because I wanted to know who raised someone like him. Like, if that makes sense.
That's a real honor as well, and I did hear you actually. I you know, I'm very good at lip reading as well.
So yeah, those are my moments for the project.
And so moving on to the work the empowerment work that you're doing on a broader level, can you just share a bit about that, Jaret?
Yeah, so we're proud partners of the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence. I'm actually receiving an award for the help I'm doing with being an advocate. And the film certainly, you know, is being used as a tool with domestic violence agencies. And then there's the Get Help page on donnathemovie.com or strongerthanpretty.com. So the work, you know, it continues, and my work actually with the agencies is coming up with spaces that men can go to share, because the only space is really AA. So for men that are abusing or feel themselves becoming, their father, that they have an outlet. And then for children, art therapy and different ways that they can express, or other ways. But we're doing fundraisers, we're hosting screening events and donating all the profit from those screening events right to the domestic violence agencies. So it's really, media has such a beautiful way of bringing people together and creating these events. So they were live events for Domestic Violence Awareness Month in October. They are going virtual now with the Delta variant, but we are fully set up to do virtual events.
Excellent.
On our streaming site. So, and we've helped agencies with their annual fundraisers and their, to keep going, doing pre-recorded shows and celebrity events. So it's been an interesting year, but we're still able to. We're actually, I'm really proud to say, the work with the retreat, they raised the most money ever, because it's so costly to have these type of events and be in these spaces. So, so virtual actually has been a good thing that way, where they're able to actually do more for the communities.
Excellent, excellent. And your film really ties in with the whole situation around COVID and the pandemic and being in lockdown, because they did say that domestic abuse figures just rocketed through that time, and so many other things. And I surmise that your film is really playing quite a pivotal role as we come through this particular phase. I mean, you talk about layers. I mean, that's a layer in itself, so you've got the film that's got its own story and came out because you wanted to tell that story. But then we came into this space of the pandemic, and then what that unraveled, revealed.
Yeah, it's been interesting. When we first started, I started press back in February for this. So I've been doing a lot of interviews and seeing a lot of the press come out. We were initially just in the United States, and now we're in 65 countries worldwide as of July 23rd. So it's, the interesting part for me was the pushback and like how angry some of these older white men were for this film to come out during the pandemic. They did not review this film well because, granted, we made some things different as far as the structure of the film, but again, from the beginning, like I said, Donna did not need to have a gun. She did not need to learn karate to know her own strength. It simply was her voice and her choice.
Yes.
Men had a really hard time with that, and I loved seeing how scared they were in their reviews, because they just were who they were, choices they made, and how how negatively that they viewed this film. So it was really interesting.
So what was it? So you sort of broke up a bit then. So, but what was it that rattled them? Is it because they felt demasculated? And also because a man was.
Yeah, I just think it was a powerful tool to show people that they can. It was something new in the media that really showed that a woman can just make the choice to leave, and that they can recognize themselves in Donna and say, you know what, she did it, I can do it, type of thing.
Okay.
And I think too, if I may, is what Jaret, the one thing that he talked about all the time is shifting that narrative from using the word victim to survivor, because victim implies that she needs to be saved. And I think we're so used to that whole white savior trope. And so all of a sudden now we have this woman who saved herself. And she wasn't a victim. She's a survivor, and that's the key thing. If anybody needs to be saved, they need to be saving themselves, because they're the ones that are the hot mess and walking. You know, if you're so angry that you have to hit somebody, that person that you hit is not the problem. You're the problem. And I think that might be part of it, is that they didn't see there was no romance where some other dude swooped in and saved her from him or something. I mean,
yes.
Who knows what they were looking for. But the fact of the matter is that she saved herself and her children. She packed up that car and she got the hell out of there. And after he gave her this house and all these things, like, I did this and I did that. But well, fucking stop hitting me. Sorry, just stop hitting me, and we won't have a problem. But that's the I think that might be part of what it is that they didn't see a representative of themselves saving this woman in dire straits or in distress or something like that. I can only assume, because what else? What's not to like about a woman that rescues herself from domestic abuse and emotional abuse and verbal abuse and all the abuses?
But then I guess it depends on how they see women as well, because if they've got a problem, then it's how they view women, and having that superior way of thinking. I'm bigger, and I feel that's probably the type of people that it will, just irritate.
Yes,
because for them in their own minds, how can you be taking away my power from me? And it's not about that. And for a woman to, like you said, for what your mother went through and also, we've got about 5 minutes, but towards the end as well, and I'll come back to you in a minute, Jaret, but especially when she studied and she went to school and she became the teacher, that dream that she always wanted. That's like the cherry on the cake.
Yeah. Which is also ironic because I'm a teacher. So to be writing about a character who's also a teacher was really, really kind of swell for me. I really enjoyed that part of it too.
And I can see a bit of an activist, like, out the way, man, I'm coming through.
And honestly, I just saw something, and I'll be real quick, this morning where they were talking about not to get too deep into that, but the Afghan robotics that people are like, oh, they were rescued. And today, for the first time, I saw a narrative that said they rescued themselves. And I think that's the key thing is that, for a man to make a film about a woman that rescues herself, maybe that's what was disturbing for them. Maybe if a woman had written and directed this film solely, they wouldn't have had a problem. But for a man to do that, maybe they was like, what's wrong with you? We're the saviors, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows what goes on inside their brains.
Mm-hmm. But I think it's interesting that this type of film was directed by a man, and he empathizes not from that place of victimhood, but from that place of being a survivor. So I think those are two strong aspects of why you might have just irritated these other people. But you were saying, Jaret, before I it's been a bit like this coming on, isn't it? I'll be on the front line with you.
I always knew that making this, was going to be very 50-50. People were going to love it or they were going to hate it. And I didn't care either way, because it was a story that needed to be told and needed to be told this way finally. So I'm so grateful to my mom that she had the strength to then go through this, and donate her house and her time and the bigger picture and the importance of not only for herself but for the world to look at, to recognize the job she was able to do on her own.
Excellent. And so sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, there was one scary moment during filming when she came back during the shoot, because we had her house, we took it over for 3 weeks, and she was there, and it was kind of, a film set disaster, and she just couldn't help it. She was in the kitchen washing dishes, and we were filming a scene where the father does his signature hair knock, that shave and a haircut, and she hadn't heard that in 20 years. And she almost dropped a dish in her hand when she heard that, because that was a trigger that for her, which we didn't even think about, but that was a very, I don't want to say special, but that was a moment that happened during the film where something, long after she's rescued herself and her children, here was that one thing, because that's what he would always do when he came by, was that knock. And she hadn't heard it, and it scared her. And I actually saw that fear in her eyes, and that's the thing, is that fear, to get that fear out of your system, that takes a really long time.
But you like Jaret said, there were so many layers, and she did incredibly well.
Things you can't even anticipate.
Yeah, so in the bigger scheme of things, that in itself was a strength, because she recognized it. Well, it's been a real pleasure talking to you both. Like I said, when I watched the film, I reviewed the film. It's on my blog as well. It's on the blog, peeps. You need to look at the review on esteraustinglobal.biz. Go to the blog post, and there are details of where you can actually see the film. But just wishing you all the best. I'm tracking you on YouTube, and I'm tracking you on Facebook now. So I'm going to show up, and just wishing you all the best with your drive. And it would be nice to connect with you a little later down to see how the film is done, and everything that you've spoken about a little later down in the year. And just thanking you for just sharing as well, sharing that. And thank you also for being part. Love your vibrancy and your energy. She, as they say, she can kick ass.
Thank you so much, Esther. This is a treat.
We appreciate it.
Yes. All right, thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have been talking to Jaret Martino and to Pat Branch. Do check out the film Donna, Stronger Than Pretty. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there are so many. I've got some comments here. Shiloh Malone, hi. Hey, Tarek, great show. Thank you for the invite. Shay said that was interesting. Esther Austin Global is amaze balls. Okay. Anyway, what we're going to do now, we're going to go over to a little break. And on the other side, I will be talking to Marshayne. Remember, Marshayne is Wayne G-Spot Marshall, and he is on the comeback. So on the other side of this trailer, I'm going to be speaking to Marshayne. Trying to find what am I looking for? Here we go.
Every time I kiss your neck, it seems to drive you crazy. I wanna give you so much more, baby. Can ice cream off it while massaging your back. You want what's in my jeans, but we can't rush that. Take off your...
It's Marshayne! Join me for the live stream premiere of my new single and video release this coming Saturday, the 17th of July, brought to you by Lock Entertainment Music Group, Marshayne and the Odeon Lux and Dine. Subscribe at www.itsmarshayne.com to gain exclusive access to the live stream.
Okay, good morning. That was an old trailer, sorry. I thought I was being clever there, and I realized, oops, July, it's actually August. But ladies and gents, I hope you got a gist of his latest track, Marshayne's latest track, I Kneel for You. I Kneel for You. I've had that on rewind since I went to Metro Fest a couple of weeks ago. I'm like, dang, this is Marshayne. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd just like to introduce you to Marshayne, as I said, formerly known as Wayne G-Spot Marshall. Thank you so much for joining me on the sofa.
Hi, Esther. How are you?
I'm cool. I'm a little tired. Remember, I said earlier, I went raving last night. I got at 7 o'clock. I felt so grown up. Walking in and it's daylight again. That's a really wow. At my age. And my knees aren't creaking. It must be the collagen that I'm taking. Anyway, Wayne, sorry, Marshayne, apologies. Well, just thank you so much for joining me. I've been looking forward to conversating with you. And I'd like to ask you, before we go any further, who is Marshayne in Good Evening, Duchess? Hello, Duchess. Good evening. Good evening. I'd like to ask you though, in a nutshell, in a peanut shell, in a crab shell, who is Marshayne?
Well, Marshayne is first generation British Caribbean born, um, and an R&B pioneer.
Excellent. Love that. And you know, there's something about the word pioneer that symbolizes so much more than someone who starts things, someone who creates things, someone that drives things. You know, for me, a pioneer is someone who's had the courage to take that leap of faith and create something. And it doesn't have to be huge, but you just took that leap of faith and to inspire others, and then you know you become a legend in your own right, but then you also support others in becoming a legend in their own right if they so choose to. And you know you are a pioneer. Now, what was it, Marshayne, that what is it about you that you feel, or the attributes where you feel gave you that pioneering say attributes, if that makes sense?
I think just especially when it comes to music, just really asking questions and figuring out questions. You know, like trying to create solutions. We call ourselves the solutionites, the solutioneers.
Nice.
You know, and I'm really surrounding myself with people that can help to provide the answers. So from a music perspective, we didn't have a live drum kit, so we used the drum machine. But the drum machine, it was the first time that it was ever used in dub music, so they now call it digital dub.
Okay.
So and that was when I was at school, at the age of 13. So it's just surrounded I've been privileged, I say, to be surrounded by people who can demonstrate how to look for solutions.
Excellent. And obviously, because of who you are, you attract those type of people into your space as well. And because you've had an eclectic career. There's another message from someone. She's all the way from
Big up,
Atlanta.
Vivica. Big up.
You've had a very eclectic career, Marshayne, and other than being a pioneer, you've worked with some incredible artists, and even you yourself with what you've achieved as an artist, and I would say outside of being an artist. What is it that drives you at your base, Marshayne? What is that trigger that drives what you do on every level? Because I believe that pioneer in you, it's the driver for everything.
That's a good question. I think in terms of the motivation, I've found that I've got a love for, when we say firstborn British Caribbean, first generation, it's that I grew up with the sound systems. I grew up with rhythm in terms of bass and rhythm, should I say. So from a music perspective, I could be, just before long, I'm just humming something to myself. If I'm in a quiet place, before long, I'm humming something to myself and tapping, and it's almost like it's within me. They say that some people say that they didn't find music found them. And
Yes.
that's literally at the age of 8. I remember, even prior to that, but I remember at the age of 8, I'm tapping pencils and just listening to people like Stevie Wonder, listening to Michael Jackson, Dennis Brown, and artists Little John, and just finding this sound that I just love, slam Robbie, so it surpasses an instrument, even just being a voice. It's just sound and rhythm, So I just found that it's the vibration. As the air moves, when the air moves, there's a rhythm there, there's a sound there, and I tend to pick up on that.
You're in tune to that, yes. And it's interesting because you talked about, starting off, finding that sound and rhythm at the age of 8 and just being in tune with that. But then in terms of your music and the tracks that you've brought out over the years, they're very, very sensual and very intimate, and very, because when I was speaking to you at the launch last week, just talking to you and just watching your face light up when you were talking about sensuality and intimacy, there was a real honoring of it, and a real enjoyment of it, whatever that it is, whether it was the process of creating the music or the process of experiencing that in your own life. There was a real enjoyment, but it wasn't that sort of fetish type of enjoyment. It was more so that this is something to be honored, but to be enjoyed. This is something that's yummy, that's nice, and there are so many different layers to that as well that makes the whole of it. Is that making sense?
Yes, totally.
And I saw that in your face,
yeah.
When I said sexy or sassy, and I mean, it's sexy, but it's sassy and intimate. And your face just lit up, and I'm like, yeah, it's a soul thing for you.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing, is that, we've got to understand that life is made of many layers. And, things that we do every day, on a regular basis, should I say, I can't understand, why we see it as bad, and just, sometimes, people ask me, okay, you do a lot of sexy songs. So, what is it? I say, well, just like anything else, if you go to a good restaurant, you want to see the ambience, a certain way. I say myself, I make music, I make the soundtrack for the bedroom. Everything takes that preparation, whether it's the waiter that's with the cloth over his arm or the walk, it's all part of, creating that vibe that if we're talking about the bedroom, then we're talking about, the sexual encounter and the sensuality that goes with it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I see it as just like your body has all different organs. It has sexual organs. It has breathing. It has all different types of organs to make it work. We've got to see ourselves, not just, oh, he's talking about sex and he's like, think about it. Is it dirty? Even if it's dirty, some people like it like that. Some people like that ambience. So we can't shun it. We just say, okay, maybe it's not for me, but we can't really shun it.
And I think there's two things there, Marshayne, because some people, for me, it's about expression and creativity. And I keep going back to this word honoring. I know I sound really old school in honoring, but it is, yeah. And then on the other side, it's still, in a sense, out there in the industry, oftentimes it's slam, slam bam, thank you, ma'am, and everything is, jooky and all sorts of things. Whereas what you are bringing into it is this awareness and this ambience of this is what it could be like, though. This is what it could be like. And like you said, it's about tailor making things. It's just like if you've got a car, most people when they buy a car, they want to fine tune it, they want to look after it, and that's what you were doing, but in the bedroom. And so this therefore leads on to your latest single, I Kneel for You. Tell us a little bit about, the thinking behind that. And because I love the track, I said I've had it on rewind. I mean, I know that's, back in the day you had it on rewind, but, YouTube.
Yeah.
So just tell us a little bit about that, and what is the story behind that, Marshayne?
Well, when I did G-Spot, 90 Degrees and Rising, I had a friend. I was introduced to a friend called Warren Wilson. He's a producer in America, and he said he was just fascinated, with this G-Spot song at the time. Bear in mind, even in America, there wasn't any song that was really as sexy as that, especially an R&B song. That was really as hardcore as G-Spot, and that that hit the place like wildfire. So
yes,
and he's for especially the guys that love women and women that love guys and love to party, you find it really appeal to them. This person, Warren Wilson, he used to work at Ricky Lake's and places like that where he would do crowd control. So. But what happened is that he used to always meet women from England, and anytime he'd hear an accent, he would like, I was introduced to him from another friend from England. So he would say, "Hey man, you know my friend Wayne Marshall?" And they'd be like, "Oh, Wayne Marshall!" Ah! And obviously the American voice and all that and everything gets wrapped up and he'll get the girls, you know. So, but then when we actually had a chance to meet, because we spoke on the phone a few times, when we actually had a time to meet, he said, "I got this song and I wrote it for you." And it was just the hook, and just the beat, and it just sounded great, you know, like the chorus. "I'm gonna kneel between your knees. I'm gonna give you what you need. I'm going down on you and make you a freak just like me." And I said, you know,
Wow.
he said,
he said, just like me.
Just like me. And he said, I wasn't sure. I'm not sure if you'd like to sing. And I said, you know what? I love the song. So I brought it back to England, wrote the verses, and tweaked the tracker, and this is the offering that you heard. And then we had a remix for a slight different soul market. So it just it's just I'm just honored that it's appreciated by both markets, you know, by the different markets, the R&B market and the soul market, the different mixes for all. And, you know, with that came the Rub Down Wallpaper version, you know, the Rub Down Wallpaper. And, you know, and that was really because, again, that's where the first generation Afro-Caribbean kicked in, because it's almost like, you know, we had these wonderful things that our parents and grandparents brought over. Not my grandparents; she was evangelist in the church. But, but you know, all right, okay.
I'm just learning about this now.
So, but you know, our parents, you know, my parents definitely, you know, was dancing. They had a lot of great dancers and brought these dances over to us. And what I found is that, you know, our legacy. We're slowly kind of almost slipping away. I mean, you go to a club now, you see the guys in one part of the dance and you see girls in the other part of the dance. What about, you know, joining to, you know, so for me it was about bringing the experiences that we grew up with and, you know, believing really that, you know, they can experience those experiences in a good way. You know, when we had the dances, the partners, the man and woman dancing together, it was a sensual thing. It wasn't seen as nasty or bad. It was just like a sensual thing. You know, a guy would tap the woman on the arm, on the elbow, or if the woman was up front, she'll tap the guy on the elbow. And you know, and you know, especially when the music slowed down, there'll be that dance. You know, there'll be the Rub Down Wallpaper dance. You know what I mean? And people left with great experiences. You know what I mean? So for me, it's almost like bringing the music, R&B music at the slow tempo. You know, the music and bringing the experience that the younger generation could, you know, can experience. Which from that we had the TikTok challenge, which was the Rub Down Wallpaper TikTok challenge. And,
you know, it's interesting because when you talked about your grandparents being, your grandmother, apologies, being an evangelist. Well, obviously my parents were really strongly, heavily in the church. So I'm only discovering about these sort of things because when you talked about run down wallpaper, I'm like, what's that? Let me just Google.com.
Google.
I wasn't brought up with that. I was brought up on Morrisonville and, you know, demon cleansing and going to church and stuff like that. You know, it's all for its time.
Yeah.
But jokes aside, you know, because what I feel is that with you bringing back, because of the way you explained it and expressed it, then it takes away sometimes that tabooness or about it, and you put it into a cultural context as well. You know, it was just part of our experience as a people. And as much as I talk about my parents were strict Christian people, you know, my father, I found out from my father, back in the day, he was the dance floor king. Wow. So I'm like, you're a hypocrite. We didn't go anywhere. We weren't allowed to go anywhere. And you carried on. You know, my dad used to carry on like he was too stushed. You know, like he never used to go dancing. But when I heard he was the king of the dance. You know, that's where I get my moves from, by the way.
All right. So it's not the Jagger. It's not moving like Jagger. It's moving like your father. Oh, okay.
Absolutely, absolutely. The genes.
That's it. That's right.
But what I do feel about what you do, the music that you produce, the lyrics as well. It's like you said, it's just about bringing that little something back, because now, even in terms of relationships, there just seems to be, and I'm not, I'm being generic here, but there just seems to be this, almost like there's a divide in terms of just wanting to be nicely intimate. Am I making sense?
So
Wanting to be nicely intimate. I like that, don't you? Nicely intimate.
That actually, yeah. I mean, it's actually
it works.
I mean, I just like, I mean, look, I'm just looking at these,
the messages.
Just where they said these were the days, we connected this like unspoken language, but that language had respect. So when we talk about, when I was talking about sex back in the day, it was a taboo subject, So, and the video obviously was very hardcore, very straight to the root of that taboo, and but just like just picking up from what you were saying about your father, I kind of almost like said, well, this is the thing, is that we were kind of almost, when I grew up, we grew up to certain things we wouldn't talk about. We grew up, you don't praise yourself, you don't, and it's not whether you're praising yourself. I look at it now as that you're helping somebody with a challenge they may have. So you're telling people what you may be. If you're good at something, you're telling people that you're good at them. So it's almost like promotion. Sometimes we say self-promotion is no good. No, that's a failure. If you can help somebody, obviously they would like you to explain how you can actually help them. And I think, even like, as we say, from a cultural perspective, I think our parents didn't really say so much about what happened. Yes, we grew up with their values and their ways and stuff, but in terms of specific things that could actually help us, like just as you said, in terms of your father, you might have had, as you say, you have the dancing skill, and maybe not really know where you get it from, because we have, almost as we grow, there's another facade that comes up, and that's the only thing that they show and what we see. But there's something underneath that says, oh, well, I like to dance, but I know it's kind of almost I know it's almost like going against what my family want, but I like to dance. So it's we just and I just feel that, especially this time around, our culture, our legacies are being just left behind, and let's bring these things up. Let's let the next generation down see these things, and then they can question it and experience it and see what and at least we've passed down a few things, as well as behaviors or values,
Absolutely. And as you're talking, Marshayne, it comes back to that saying, it takes a village to raise a child, and we have to become the village. I sometimes I get a little frustrated. Yes, I'm a Sagittarian, so I do get frustrated sometimes, when we're always saying, we want that outside of us. I'm like, well, we have if we want the village, then it's down to us to try to bring back the village, to bring back the elders, to bring back certain ways. It's down to us. We can't be saying, expecting somebody else to do it and then turn around and say, but let's stop the confusion. What is it that we want in the village? And we can, and it's just like I went to visit a venue on Friday, and there was and I think they were from Ghana. They were preparing for a wedding, and so when I went in there, it was just nice to say hello, auntie. I mean, nothing, but there was just that, there's the feel when you have that sort of connection. Hello, auntie, and she said, "Have you come to help in the kitchen?" No, I've just come to look around. But it was just nice, because like you said, there are certain attributes and there are certain attitudes that we have to maintain. Why I don't see we're always handing over our power, and it's It takes a village to raise a child, but I said no. It takes the village to raise the village, because even the elders in the village are behaving like sometimes like the youth them. And sorry, I'm getting a bit passionate, but but that's what it is. And also there is strength in numbers.
Yes,
There's strength in numbers, and I know for people like our age, well, at a certain age group, they call us the lost generation. Yeah, they call us the lost generation because so much has been taken away. And I was talking to someone yesterday. He was talking about the system has stripped away certain things. That's fine, the system. But then for those of us who have that vision and that insight and that intuition into, let's try and bring back the village in whatever way we can. Yeah. So then even your music at the level that you've produced it, or at the level it's at, it's one aspect of that cultural honoring. But you said a baseline word, and it's respect. And I keep saying to people, respect and honor. If we learn to respect and honor each other, can you imagine the magic that you can create?
Yeah. I think if we focus less on trying to get to the top by pulling down, almost like crab in a barrel. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
If we can focus on being better and helping each other to be better, what we got to realize is that it's all about we've got abundance. There's abundance of whatever we're looking for, whether it's fame, whether it's money, whether it's just likability. There's an abundance of that. So all we need to do is focus to be good at what we do and how to pull on our resources, especially the community. I remember going to one of my mentors. Really, he's a bass player called Elroy Bailey. He passed away.
Yes.
Famous bass player, played on a lot of lovers rock records, a lot of reggae records, and was a member of the group called Black Slate. And he, when I went to his wake and I looked around and I said, hold on. At that time, we had the George Floyd. We had a lot of police brutality. We had, we had Dr. Boyce and, a few of these champions for economics change. And we realized that a lot of the challenges that we have from an economics perspective, we have everything there. I looked in the wake and I saw people who finance projects. I see people who run corporate companies. I see entrepreneurs. I see people who create products. And I'm saying, well, all we need, what I kind of came to the realization that all we need is the conversation and the project to pull it together. Not just the idea of, oh, we need to work together. We need to kind of create the conversation. And us as artists tend to create conversations. We go through doors. We can, through those doors, we tend to collect resources like intellectual resources and stuff like that. So for me as an artist, I talk to other artists and I say the same. I say, look, let's just as the conversation is had and there's resources that the community can use, don't close the door behind you. Either, when you come out, share some of those resources. You don't have to share all of it, but share some of those resources. You'll be surprised what can be created from that. It's all about the seed.
It is. And it's interesting because there were two gentlemen at your event, and one said something that was pretty key. He goes, there's something around, rather than working together, like you said, there's always, we will support you if you stay on the same level as us. But if they see, and I'm experiencing that a few times in my space now. But for me, I say, this is my lane. This is my purpose. This is what's been given to me. You mind your business and mind your lane, because I'm doing it. And I don't mind putting up, because I know that my blessings are coming. So why am I going to begrudge somebody else's? And if you really understand whatever you believe in, but if you really understand that as you plant that seed, and if it's for you, it's for you, and nobody can take it away. So focus on your seed, man, and watch it grow.
And I think the important thing of what we need to pass down to our culture and, have more, obviously, there's like manhood academies and stuff like that actually teach, but it is very much about teaching about your purpose and goals. Purpose and goals that should be able to kind of get you through and
Mm.
what we kind of miss. The purpose obviously takes time to kind of understand that and kind of get to where it is. But I can say from that wake, that's where I actually found my purpose. I believed, okay, I was always in places where I believed I could have literally just avoided trouble, avoided any kind of challenge really. And I felt, okay, there's a guidance here. There's a guidance. I'm almost there. I don't know what it is, but there's a hand guiding me.
Yes.
The hand of God, the universe guiding me. So I guess that's where the values of the church helps. And then you realize that okay, when I was at that awake and saw all those things, I realized that as an artist, what I can bring is my music and the conversation and the ideas to help bring people together for a cause, for a reason. And we did it. One thing we did with working with Locke, which is a charity record label, was able to bring more people together, whether it was via even a competition. We brought working with sponsors. Paul Wayne Gregory sponsored us with the chocolates, for argument's sake, and we were able to do the Break the Record and Eat It a live stream. Working with an association with the audience, with a cinema. The Odeon.
Yes, it was a beautiful cinema. Yes, the Odeon Deluxe. It was deluxe for real. It was nice. And one sort of cheeky, 4 minutes left. Time is going too fast, Wayne. We're going to have to do a part 2 and a part 3 later down. But I was thinking, and this might seem a little cheeky. You talked about the values of the church and, that the support that it gave you in a way. Now, when's the last time you've been in a church, Wayne? I mean, you haven't gone up in flames. So obviously.
I think it could have been, would have been just before, maybe not, I mean, a little before the pandemic. Every so often I'll go to church and go with my mum.
You don't go up. You don't go up in flames. I mean,
no,
your sensual music and all.
No, and that's the funny thing. As I said, I'll talk to anybody about the same thing, and I'll say, look, it's all about the soundtrack and it's all about how things are presented.
Absolutely.
I mean, I can tell you. I spoke to. I was doing an album for somebody as a production, and she goes to church every so often. She went to a pastor's house. They were doing they were getting prepared to go to do a service, and she said, the pastor said, okay, just sit down, make yourself at home. So she was there flipping through the record box, and what did they see? They saw 90 Degrees and Rising by Wayne Marshall. And the pastor said, yeah, don't think anybody, but and that's the thing. It's like, again, I mean, I understand. Obviously, he's got quite a bit to answer to, but the real deal is what they, what they see and what they feel has been a part of, as you said earlier, as part of their culture.
Absolutely,
it becomes a bit more. And again, I mean, wherever I'm asked to do shows all about the place, and I'm trying to hold it down, and they're saying, well, no, I want the G-spot song.
Yes.
So it's one of those things where even for me, I'm surprised, but again, it's something of acceptance, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I just threw that in cheekily because I just had this vision of them doing prayer meeting, and then somebody said, they get in the spirit and they're like G-spot,
I won't go that far, but
I know.
But
that's why I said I was just going to throw something silly. But like you said, it's just part of it. It's part of the whole. Like you said before, there are many different aspects, and it's part of the whole. And I really do feel that the more that we embrace that intimate side of ourselves and also learn to enjoy it, because there's been so much, it's been so taboo for so long. Sometimes you can see the fear in people's faces when you say certain things, almost like, dang, it's part of life.
Yeah.
And there's also something called sex magic as well. setting your intention when when you're in that place of intimacy, but that's for another conversation.
Yeah.
um
I'd like to
but
hear more about that.
yeah, no, there is something called sex magic because in when you're in a place of intimacy and real strong intimacy, then when you set your intentions, it creates a magic and an energy as well. So it's not just a process, it's not just an act, there's just so much more going on in that space. So your words, your music, it's all about vibrations as well. But and like you said, the baseline, the honoring and the respect, I mean, ice cream with cherry on the top, so to speak. But Wayne, I mean, I keep calling you Wayne. Apologies, Marshayne.
Okay. It's Marshayne, the artist formerly known as Wayne. Jeez,
Marshayne. It's been a real pleasure.
Yes.
A real pleasure meeting you. A real pleasure. Being part of this gravy train. Just putting you out there into the big wide world. And I see it as a comeback. And it would be nice to interview in a few months' time and to see where you're at as well, and anything else that you're bringing out. I'd like to say thank you to LOC Lock Entertainment. Thank you very much for helping to set this up, and to everyone who's been on the show this evening. To Shay, because Shay loves you. I mean, Shay. She goes, "Oh, I'm listening. I'm going to listen in." So thank you, Shay. And thank you to Whittington, who was on earlier, and to everybody else who joined me. Vivica, no, how do you pronounce the lady's name? Davies? Vivaca. Have I pronounced that right? From Atlanta, the lady from Atlanta. Thank you for joining us. Shonette, thank you for joining us, and anyone else. Just wishing you all a fantastic week ahead. And from this conversation with Marshayne. You sound Benji. I have to go to my
Marshayne. Okay, there you go.
It's very sing-songy. But really, the essence of the show. Yes, I interview artists and I interview people from the entertainment world, but it's all about where do you want to go? What is it that you want to achieve, especially in these moments in time where there's that paradox of oppression, suppression, but then there's this rebirth and this reset, and we can all gravitate towards this side, and we can do it as individuals, but we can do it bigger and stronger as a collective.
That's it.
It.
I'd like to say, if possible,
absolutely.
I would just like to say all those that like to big up all those who supported the radio tour, our TikTok challenge, Break the Record and Eat It live stream watch party. The winners of the Metrofest tickets, Paul Wayne Gregory as our sponsor, of course, Team Marshayne, record label, Locke, Duchess and Jaret and the media crew, Coral Conscious Lee, Steve Ripley, Diana, Sachet, D9 Clothing, Basie, Ayana, just like our video crew, Danny Fontaine, D Gale, and our producers and writers, Daily, Adrian McKenzie, DS Grime, Paul Wayne Gregory, our sponsors, Music House, Metro Fest, Christian Jean-Francois, and everybody who subscribed and to our TikTok challenges, and keep following. It's Marshayne, so look out for our Instagram. The Instagram Marshayne Music, that's MARSHAYNE music, and that's Instagram and Facebook. And look out, we're going to be uploading our video on official Marshayne Music. That should be up tomorrow at some point. And big up yourself, Esther. Thank you so much for having us.
It's been a real pleasure.
And all those that supported our press call, like to big up all of you all, and we've just got more to come, more to come. Yeah. And do look out. We've got the ask everybody to sign up on our and subscribe, please, to get the updates and latest updates. The record is out. I kneel for you. It's out this week, so check out the socials. You can get it on Spotify. You can get it on Apple Music. You can get it on iTunes, download. So Amazon. So look for I Kneel For You. We've got two versions, the Soul Shakedown version and the Rub Down Wallpaper version, the radio version. But, yes, check it out, check it out, check it out. It's out now. So please check it out.
Brilliant. I want to get hold of the rock down wall version, man.
The rub down,
the rock down, whatever you want to call it. I'm still learning a bit later than there for that.
So, okay. And I'll just say, big up to Sashay and Duke Basie. I mean, what a video! The video they put together was just for me, it was like a mind blowing experience. Creating the video and actually watching it back, it's just it's just amazing. So look out for, of course, future projects. Sashay, she's done a few videos for myself as well, and she's my fiance also. But it's just, let me tell you, it's just what I can say. Please subscribe to Marshayne. It's Marshayne music. And yes, there'll be lots of stuff, and obviously look at Lock Entertainment, Lock EMG. There's just lots of things happening, new artists as well with the stable. So what can we say? Excellent.
Well, on that note, I'd like to say a huge thank you, all the best, and I will be tracking you. And hopefully in a few months' time, like I said, it'd be nice to have you back on again to see, what else you've come up with and what the team are doing. Yeah?
Yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's Marshayne. Did I get that right?
It's Marshayne, and I'll be singing in Bedford on the 29th. It's the 29th in Bedford, so check it out.
All right, he sounded a bit like Bearden. He sounded Bearden, didn't it? All right. All right then. Take
my
care.
Uncle, big up the Bajan posse. Julia, my uncle, big up. Orlando, big up.
Bless. All right, thank you very much. Take care.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed that interview with It's Marshayne. I'm going to get there. And just quickly to say thank you for everyone who listened in. Thank you to Anthony B. Williams for, he's the owner of the station. There's so many more other great shows on the station throughout the week. Just visit www.lnsoulradio.com. And next week, I will be talking to progressive house artist Anaya Day and also an incredible Afrobeats artist, Dark Eye. I'm sure it's called Dark Eye. So same time, same place next week. And also, if you would like to purchase a copy of my magazine, Turning Point, Your Lifestyle, Your Wellbeing, you can go visit www.turningpointmag.com. And I'm giving away 2 complimentary digital copies to the magazine. So all you have to do is just email me at info@turningpointmag.com. See, Christmas come early. And on that note, thank you so much for listening. And same time, same place next week.
But somehow, trust me, I got next. Call me when you want it, lady. Headlines don't try and hide. You swear, and I can't afford to be without you, babe. So you can love me, babe.
Okay, peace out.